accidentally liked an Instagram photo and now my life is probably over. My 55 male daughter, 21 female, still lives at home, but has full autonomy here. But I like to know what's going on. So when she texted that she's bringing a few friends over after school, it wasn't to ask permission, just to let us know there might be a few more people over for dinner. No prob. Who? I asked. She mentioned a few names I recognized and one I didn't.
We're gonna
Let's
make
call
some
her Sally.
churros
Who's
today.
Sally? Just another friend from uni.
First,
Okay,
we're gonna start
sounds
with
good.
a cup
See
of
you later.
water.
My
To
idle
that, we're gonna
curiosity
add
led me to
half a
Instagram.
stick of
Just
butter. We're
wondering who
gonna
Sally
let
is.
that
I
butter
looked up my
melt
daughter's
along
Instagram
with a
list of who she follows,
tablespoon
and
of
found
light
only
brown
one Sally
sugar
whose
and
profile
salt.
indicated she attended the same uni as my daughter. Obviously her.
Oil and
That would
everything
have
is
been,
melted.
except her
Go
profile
ahead
caught
and
my
add in
attention,
a cup
because
of
unlike most of her
all-purpose
friends who have
flour.
them set on private,
Start
this one was
mixing
wide open to the
everything
public,
together,
it's one of
and
these
then it
typical young,
should
beautiful
form
woman
a
profiles
nice
full of selfies
dough.
and exotic clothes and poses. I scroll down a bit and of course
Once
there
your
are bits
dough
pics from
looks
last
like
summer,
this,
like
go
any normal
ahead
red-blooded
and
male.
turn off the
It catches my
fire. It
attention.
should
No,
honestly
I'm
only
not into
take
girls
like
my
2
daughter's
to 3
age.
looking
I'm
like
not some
this.
perv. But when those sorts
Transfer
of pictures
into
show
a
up on your
bowl
phone,
and then
most
let it
guys would be
cool.
lying if they told you it didn't catch their attention for a closer
Cool,
look.
we're going
Anyway,
to start
I paused
adding
the
in
scroll
our
there and I
eggs.
screwed
We're
up
gonna
because I
add
double
3
tapped it, and that
eggs.
dreaded
So
big
here
red like
goes
heart
the
shows
first
up,
one.
right on some very revealing bikini
Mix
pic.
that
My
one
actual heart
in.
actually stops for a moment too. I'm sure of it. I instantly unlike it, but, of course, the damage is done. Somewhere, Sally's phone just
There
got a
goes my
notification that
second
some user
egg.
whose account shares
And
the
then
same
there
last name
goes
as
my...
my daughter. Like
Once
that
all
pic.
your eggs are
So,
nicely
Sally will
incorporated, we're
mention
gonna
this to my
come up
daughter
with
and I will
this
be a dead
sticky
man.
dough
And that's
here
it. It's been nice
and
knowing
into
you
a
all.
piping
I
bag.
realize there
This
may
is
be a
the
saving
tip
grace
I'm
here,
using
which is that
today.
Sally, with her 20K
And then I'm
followers
just
and
gonna
thousands of
start
likes per
piping
pic might
in
have
whatever
notifications turned
kind
off,
of
in which case
churros
this is
I
a
want.
non-issue. Or, she gets so
Once
many
my oil is
notifications,
hot,
she
I'm
won't
gonna
notice
toss
because she
them in
ignores
and
them
I'm
and then
gonna
clears
take
them in
them out
bunches. Perhaps
and
that's
put
wishful
them
thinking.
into
Or,
cinnamon
as per
sugar.
above, I'm dead. I
And
don't
now
really see
we're
many
just
other
gonna
alternatives.
put them into a
For the
plate,
moment, until I hear
and
anything
there
from
we
someone, I feel like I'm
go.
anywhere from totally in the clear to dead, like I'm strapped into Schrodinger's electric chair, waiting to find out which way the lever will fall. My wife of 2 years cheated on me with her childhood friend. I, 32 male, been married for 2 years to who I thought was the love of my life, 32 female, we have been together for 4 years now. We have a 1-year-old and live in a house that I own. During the day I'm the COO of a tech company that brings $5 million plus revenue a month. Now I would like to say that I have showed her love through all the time we were together. She said she was bisexual and I didn't mind. She's a stay-at-home mom. Before she used to work as an assistant and it was her idea to have children, which at first I wasn't much supportive of because I felt like with my job I wouldn't be able to be there for my child when he needed me. So she decided to quit her job to become a full-time mom, which made the idea more pleasing. Her childhood friend, let's call her Sarah, crashed at our house 3 months ago since she got fired from her job and was job hunting and wanted to reduce the cost of living. So we let her live with us for the time being. At this point I didn't think much of anything. I know how hard it can be job searching, so I wanted her to focus on it while staying with us. We needed somebody to stay with our child if we ever decided to go out, and at the same time it was my ex-wife's childhood friend, so it was up to her really. 1 month into her stay she started hitting on me, touching me everywhere, making very intimate remarks about my body or anything really, and just overall very dirty interactions when my wife was not around. When I told my wife about it she gaslighted me and told me that I'm overreacting. I don't think it's overreacting when your wife's girlfriend smacks your butt for no reason. Well, here I have to admit that I wasn't affectionate to my wife during this period. The job was exhausting me as we were racking the most money we ever did at the time. One time when I was working on my computer, Sarah came to me when my wife was taking care of the baby and put her arms around me and said, "What are you doing?" I told her to get off me, which she responded with, "Relax, I'm just checking on you." So I stood up and pushed her and her arms away from me, and she fell on the ground and started crying and calling for my wife. My wife then came as fast as possible, almost as if she knew what was happening. Sarah accused me of touching and squeezing her chest, then pushing her to the ground, which never happened. What would my wife of 2 years and the mother of my child do? Start berating me and calling the cops on me. Now these two bitches didn't realize one thing. I have hidden cameras around the house. See, I didn't trust that her friend would do a great job in looking over our child, so I set up hidden cameras and made sure they didn't find out about them. They were cheating on me, and I knew for at least a month before this incident. I was just trying to build a case with my lawyer just so we can benefit the most out of the situation. I wanted to keep the house and have full custody of my child, so we decided to let it play out. Now, without going into much details, I was arrested after the cops were called because my wife lied as well and said I beat her too, that I had a maniac episode and did all that. All of what happened was caught on cam. Again, I can't mention more than this at this point, but we're working on the case with my lawyer right now. I got intimate with my best friend's little sister and now I'm conflicted. So I have a best friend since the 4th grade named Jake. Jake and I have been locked like that. Been through a lot. Dude is my bro. The men in here know what I'm talking about. He has a little sister, Hannah. I've never seen her in any sort of light other than, oh, that's my bro's little sister, and that's it. Well, she was celebrating her 21st last weekend and I saw her out with her friends. I was also out with a dude from work. I ran into her and told her I'd buy her a drink for her 21st. We did a shot as well, and I asked her how she was getting home, and she said we'll probably Uber, and I told her worst comes to worst, text me and I'll bring you home. It's about 12:30 at night and she texted asking me for a ride, and so I went and got her. We sat and talked in my truck. She brought up that she was talking to a guy who was being inconsistent and asked my opinion on it. Eventually, she mentioned she liked my belt. It was just a normal belt I wear for work, but she always said I've always liked a man with a belt and boots, and I thought nothing of it. Well, she made a move. By putting her hand down there, I was taken aback and told her chill out, and she just pushed me back into my seat and told me to chill. She started going at it. When I was about to finish, I told her, and she just kept going. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but the women legitimately slurped the soul out of me. After I regathered myself, I brought her home and she said I'll text you, and she winked. As a person, man, friend, I feel crappy. I feel like I betrayed my bro, and I really don't know how he'd react if I told him. I also don't want to make it a public thing because people will ask me about it and people will tease him about it. I also was talking to someone who I really liked and was exclusive with days before this happened, and now I feel like crap for that too. All in all, I'm a mess and I literally can't tell anyone without it getting blown up. So thanks for letting me vent. Reddit.
My brother was arrested and my mom blames me for it. Hi, this is my first post, so I apologize if everything is messy or it doesn't make sense. About 2 years ago in January, my 23 female sister, 16 female, confessed to me that my brother, 21 male, had been intimately touching her. She told me that he had been doing this for at least 3 years and she didn't know what to do since she had told my mother about his behavior, and she did nothing about it. I haven't lived with my parents since I was 15, so I understand why my sister didn't trust me enough to tell me what was happening before. When I confronted my mom, all she said was, "He's working on changing, and he has not been doing anything lately." I just took my sister with me and my mom thanked me for helping her. After thinking a lot, I called my mom and asked her to call the police on my brother and to kick him out of her apartment. Before I took my sister back, she went completely insane and threatened to call the police on me for taking my sister while calling me ungrateful, remarking how I have never helped her, and crying saying, "You don't know what they do to men who do things to children in prison." While my sister was living with me, I took her to all the appointments with CPS, taking her testimony, scheduling therapy sessions, etc., because the school was aware of everything happening. Every piece of information was sent to me instead of my mother, which made her furious. After a couple of months, my brother left the apartment and I took my sister back. After that, my mom prohibited me to be alone with my sister and wouldn't even allow me to arrive unannounced or without her permission. She stopped taking her to her therapy and got my sister a dog, which apparently is equivalent. When my brother was finally arrested, December of that year, my mom went insane accusing me of calling the police again so they would arrest him and begged me to help her find a lawyer to help him. Of course, I did not help her with that, or so I thought, and she completely dropped it. A couple of weeks after she started acting like everything was normal and I thought she was changing, she would invite me over. We would go to places and spend holidays together, and sometimes she would ask me for money because she was late for rent or because my sister needed stuff for school, etc. I never gave it too much thought since she had never done that and I wanted to help her. After I think 7 or 8 months, my brother got out of jail and was deported. I thought everything was going to get better from there, seeing as my brother was in a different country. But I was really mad since I didn't know why he was released and no one would tell me. Fast forward to 2 months ago, me and my sister were talking in my car and she told me about everything that my mom had been up to. 1. My mom had been paying several different lawyers to try and get my brother out of prison. That was the reason why she needed money. 2. She kept in contact with my brother a lot and would send him money and care packages, while my sister didn't have underwear. And the worst of all, when she finally understood that nothing was getting my brother out of there, she threatened my sister to go and sign a contract stating that she lied and my brother didn't do anything to her. She also told her not to tell me this or else she would get rid of her dog. I truly did not know what to even think. The months of physical, emotional, and financial support I had given my sister, everything I had to do to make my sister have a better life and not be in that horrible situation, shattered. I felt useless. Nothing I did was enough to protect my sister and I even contributed to it without knowing. My mom made my teenage sister a liar in court and all I can think about is how if anything remotely similar happens to her again, no one will believe her. It frustrates me how our mother was able to do this to her daughter just because her son was in prison for a crime he 100% committed. I still don't know what I should do, and it eats me alive thinking that maybe if I would have paid more attention to everything, and if I would have been there more for my sister, this wouldn't have happened.
My fiancé says I'm too fat to touch. My fiancé has basically told me I'm too fat for him to touch, and I haven't gained any weight since we met. I noticed he never touches my waist, hips, butt or thighs. He's always made excuses for this, like he's shy, nervous or inexperienced, finds it difficult to express himself. Everything else was great between us and he is very caring, etc., so I believed him and thought things would improve with time. One day I finally laid on top of him and guided his hands down to my butt, thinking he was just too shy to take the initiative. He immediately let go as if he was repulsed, and made up some excuse. I told him to touch me in that area in future. He still hasn't. I really grilled him about this. I expected him to say he's just not a butt guy, but he said no, he likes women's butts. Eventually, and after many contradictory lies, he reluctantly said he prefers smaller butts and legs. I am a size 6/8 US size in pants, skinnier up top. I asked him what size I would need to be for him to be attracted enough to my butt to be able to touch it. He said a size 4. He doesn't know women's sizes though, and from his descriptions he would like even thinner, like size 0 or less. He has a tiny butt, even compared to most men. He is like extra small in pant size. So I said, compared to your butt, what size would you like? And he said, well, mine has a bit of fat, as if that was ideal and any more fat would be gross. I said, yours barely has any fat at all. And he said a woman could have a bit more fat than his. I have no hope of getting to this size. I'm so shocked, as he never came across as a shallow guy at all. He seems like a really nice, caring, sensitive guy. Also, I'm the first girl he's ever made love with, if that makes a difference. He says he's been single for so long as he was shy, skinny, and has self-confidence issues due to having some very, very slight disability which affects his looks, which I won't mention here to keep anonymous, which isn't a big deal at all, he just thinks it is. In our conversation he also randomly said, without me bringing it up, he will never do mouth stuff because he is scared of throat cancer. He just told me this a couple of days ago. I am completely devastated and crying a lot. I mean, your boyfriend is the one person that's supposed to think you're beautiful, right? He is not telling me to lose the weight, by the way, which I guess is good. He says it doesn't matter, it doesn't bother him. He loves me, he's attracted to me, don't lose weight, and I am overreacting. I know I'm no model, but neither is he. And all my previous boyfriends touched me everywhere, complimented me and made me feel beautiful. Now I just feel really ugly. Also, I struggle to get turned on without being really touched. Say he could touch me if I was a size 4 and I lost the weight. He really wants us to have kids. What will he do if I get pregnant and then struggle to lose all the baby weight? Or just put on a bit of weight as I age, as most do? Will he not be able to touch any single part of me then? It makes me so sad, as I personally would not care if his weight changed as he gets older, even if he became a bit overweight. This is just part of life. We live together, about to get married, everything else in the relationship is perfect and we want the same things in life. I thought he was the one, and before this could see myself having kids with him. What in the world do I do? He wants me to just get over this, can I? So, my boyfriend knocked up his cousin. My boyfriend, 23 male, and me, 22 female. We've been seeing each other for about a year and a half now. About 6 months ago, we decided to take a plunge and move in together. He moved from a different state and brought a bunch of his stuff, including a box I had never bothered to check out till today. I was just doing some cleaning around the house and knocked over this box. Curiosity got the best of me, and I started poking around in it. It was like one of those memory boxes, full of old pictures, concert tickets, boarding passes, that kind of stuff. I found this envelope at the bottom of the box, and even though I had a feeling I shouldn't, I opened it anyway. Inside, a hospital bill for an abortion. My stomach dropped when I saw the names on the bill. It was my boyfriend's and one of his cousins. He's always been pretty private about his family, didn't have the best relationship with his parents growing up, and usually avoids talking about them. I've always respected that, but seeing this, it messed me up. Like, how am I supposed to react to this? Why would he hide something like this from me? The whole thing went down when he was 19 and his cousin was 17. I wasn't even in his life back then, but this is a big deal, something I feel like I should have known about. When he got home later, I had to confront him. We argued, mostly about me snooping around his stuff, but I was desperate for answers. After a bunch of arguing, he finally broke down and told me what happened. It was a one-time thing. They were both excited teenagers, they had the house to themselves and things just happened. But then his cousin got pregnant. Panicking, he reached out to an older cousin, who helped them arrange an abortion. Once that was done, he closed the book on that chapter of his life and moved here to start over. I'm still trying to process all of this. What do you guys think? My partner and I both cheated on each other with the same person. Me, 21 female, and my partner Emma, 23 female, have been dating for a little over 3 years. Both of us are close friends with this girl Vanessa, 21 female, who is considerably attractive, and has previously hinted that she likes me as more than just a friend. One day, Vanessa sent me a couple exposed pics of herself out of the blue. This was during a time when Emma and I were having a major fight and agreed to go no contact for a bit. I was feeling particularly lonely and selfish, so I sent some back, and it all went downhill from there. We then texted for a week or so and eventually ended up sleeping together. I immediately regretted it after the fact, and didn't know what to do. This was about 2 weeks ago. Fast forward to yesterday. I still hadn't confessed my infidelity. Vanessa adds all 3 of us to a shared group chat and immediately sends out a bunch of screenshots and evidence of me cheating. I'm so screwed, I thought. I started panicking when Vanessa suddenly sends out even more screenshots, except these showcased Emma sending her exposed pics and discussing how they had made love, and how amazing it was. Vanessa then leaves group chat. Needless to say, I was in shock. Neither Emma nor I had said anything to one another until the end of the day. She showed up at my apartment at about 10 p.m. but wasn't mad. Instead of talking about what had happened, we just cuddled on my couch for a couple hours as if everything was fine. At some point she said, "We need to be in an open relationship." I agreed with her and that was that. We eventually fell asleep in each other's arms afterwards. We woke up this morning, exchanged a few "I love yous," and started our days. Neither the cheating incident nor the big fight before that have been addressed, and something tells me that they never will be. I had to type this out because I can't stop thinking about how we are both incredibly toxic individuals, yet somehow perfect for each other.